Hi guys. So in this part of the video, I'm going to be talking about a little bit more about the game and basically just kind of compare and show some gameplay. The reason why I love this game so much is not only the unique art style and the presentation of the story and unique playable characters. The game isn't incredibly hard, and despite me playing it at least 10 times start to finish and finishing 100% of the game, including the harder difficulties like Deadly difficulty and Killer 8, where Killer 8 you unlock a new personality or persona, and the bonus kind of level Hopper 7, which I uploaded on the channel previously, where they changed the Heaven Smiles into grasshoppers because the production company grasshopper manufacturer Suda 51's company is named after it. So yeah, I kind of compare it to Siren and killer7 because even though those are two completely different games, they have some horror elements and puzzle elements and a little bit of difficulty. While Siren is more difficult on the side, but the later Siren games will get more easier. But they both have a unique style and presentation, and to me they stand out a lot more to other games I played in the past, and they're both made in Japan, so that's pretty cool. I played the original GameCube version on the Dolphin emulator because although I have a Wii, I don't have a proper GameCube controller because I use my DualShock 4 as a go-to controller because one of the most recent updates on the PC port can now read DualShock or DualSense controller, so that was the only controller I had. But fortunately my DualShock 4 had been broken because of the analog stick drifting, so that was kind of really hard to enjoy several games where I had to use the right analog stick. And I've tried to clean it up, but unfortunately it would just not work out, and I tried to fix it myself by going and unscrewing stuff with a clean kit, and unfortunately that did not work. But anyways, I'm going to show two split screens of the PC release and the GameCube release I recorded via Dolphin, and I'm just going to talk about the story a little bit. So it's just what I wrote based on my description and me playing it thousands and thousands of times. So the game takes place in the United States and starts with a character named Garcia Smith, which is the middleman between the killer7 group and the government, because you work for the government and you basically have a bunch of assignments which you basically are targets of people kind of being a threat to society, and the world is basically overfilled with Heaven Smiles, which are enemies you kill to boost up your levels and power. And you have 6 other personas with unique advantages, such as unlocking any padlock, super fast feed, invisibility, collateral shot, blood removal, etc. Since Garcia is the middleman between the government and killer7, the other 6 personas include Dan Smith, who uses a large caliber revolver and can do collateral shots with multiple charges, and Kaede Smith uses a large rifle and can zoom in with her rifle and can seek out fake blood or important items covered in blood or transparent barriers. Consmith is a blind assassin who's small but can run super fast and uses 2 pistols as a weapon. Kevin Smith can turn invisible and uses knives, or well, I like to call them digistars, but they're pretty much knives. Master Smith uses 2 hand grenades as a weapon and can break through cracks and walls to progress further in the game. Coyote Smith can jump really high to other buildings and unlock certain areas with a padlock. And for Garcia Smith, kind of just works between the government and the killer7, and he can bring back the other personas if you die during the game. So as long as if you die by the other 6 personas, Garcia Smith should be able to revive them by pumping the A button repeatedly a couple times till their health refills, and then yeah. So it's a pretty cool game, and in the cutscenes you'll work with this guy named Christopher Mills, who also works for the government and gives you important tips and information about your next target or mission, and you'll be communicating with him at an overpass in Washington DC. It's a really cool kind of secret mission thing, because you are working for the government, and it's just a really cool aesthetic. Some stories are two-parters, and most of them, each chapter could take about an hour to 2 hours in length. It's not a very long game. It's about 6 or 7 chapters in total. About half of it are two-parters, and then the half are just like one-parters, which are just 1 to 2 hours total. So probably the most difficult thing about the game is enemies spawning right after you kill them, like immediately after, and kind of just killing you right off the bat after you kill them, because sometimes they'll spawn. You'll hear a laughing cue of the Heaven Smiles to know that they're around, and it's a good cue that they are nearby and coming to get you. You can heal a lot in this game after killing Heaven Smiles by shooting the floating orbs that appear in the Heaven Smile. The more accurate that you hit those, the more you'll be able to use your special powers or abilities from the personas of the Smiths. And also, bosses can be a little bit difficult, especially in Sunset Chapter Part 2 and Encounter chapters. I mean, as a guy who's played it like at least 10 times over and over and over, I've gotten used to it, but still there are some difficult parts and difficult Heaven Smiles that I can't beat without like knowing a little bit of strategy and playing it multiple times. But I recommend just playing on normal and just kind of experiencing the game, because it's a good way to play the game. The other difficulties are fun, but it can be a little bit frustrating, especially on Killer 8, where you die after one hit from Heaven Smiles, and it's hard to dodge and use the multiple charges that's in the game. Puzzles aren't incredibly difficult. They can be in future difficulties, like there's a candle sequence in the first chapter, and then if you tried it on the other difficulties, they would not give you that order, but luckily you're normal. But if you just remember it straight off the top, I can't remember it even after playing it so many times. It's not too bad at all, and pretty much besides that, puzzles are pretty much the exact same. But since you can upgrade the Smiths, you can enter this room called the Harmon's Room, and Harmon Smith is kind of like the old man leader of the group, not included in the 7, as well as her assistant Samantha Sitbon. She will either wear a maid outfit or just casual clothes, but if she wears a maid outfit, you could save the game, but you can still upgrade with your thick blood or serum that you've collected throughout by killing Heaven Smiles. There's a certain amount of blood in each level. After killing multiple Heaven Smiles, you can only get up to 1,000 blood, and sometimes if you grind up a lot, you can only use up a certain amount to convert the thick blood to serum, which you can use to upgrade the Smiths. So you can't always grind in the game, but each level of Persona can go up to 5, and there's about 4 rankings: power, speed, critical hit, and I believe range, or waiver, I believe. So shooting will be in first person, and the analog stick may look like it's drifting, but that's just part of the game. It makes it a little bit more difficult, but once you upgrade your waiver or critical, it's a lot more easier to kill the Heaven Smiles in the game. So, and most of the time you will be playing the game in the third person, or you could change the camera perspective to see what's behind you by viewing the characters in front of you. So yeah, so about this game's story, it's a really complicated story, and I won't spoil it, but it's one of those games that if you told someone the entire story, it would be very confusing. But I recommend checking it out yourself. I love this game immensely. I bought it over 2 years ago on Steam when it was on sale for like $6.99. It just sat on my Steam library for about 2 years until the recent major update with the remastered videos and the new anti-aliasing, 60 FPS reload. Just a lot of quality improvements. And DualShock 4 DualSense control. I know that they changed the FOVs with AI upskilled, but Personally, I'm glad that they listened to feedback to change back into the originals, because I know that fans were very picky about the AI upscaling, because there were definitely some noticeable artifacts. I'm not against it or anything, but I understand that people may be upset about it. So I'm glad that Engine Software did listen to the fans about putting those ports. I really respect that. But they're still really great a game, and don't let a bad AI upscale kind of get in the way of playing a classic game. This is the best way to play the game on PC, killer7. It's more convenient, and it's easier to shoot and aim with a mouse and keyboard, but I recommend using a controller because that's the original port. But they're still really fun to play this game, and I played many games with AI upscaling, whether that's fan-made mods or just restoration, because the original quality videos are low quality, but they use different models and carefully checked everything. So yeah, I'm not completely against it, but I understand if people do not like the AI upscaling. But I'm glad that Agent Software listened to fans, so I really respect that. But I still love this game. I'm still gonna support it. But yeah, it's a on-rails shooter game, and you can't really move freely. It's already kind of plotted out for you where to move, so you won't be completely lost. But it's an interesting way. You press the A button if you have an Xbox, or cross button, or the mouse button, or the W button to move forward, and you can't really walk, you just kind of run. But I know that some people prefer that because they might be running, but maybe they're speedrunning a game or something. But yeah, and you can only move in certain directions based on what the game gives you. You can turn back by pressing the right button, or the circle button, or the B button in your controller, and the analog stick, or the direction you can move it, will show you which direction or room you want to go. Overall, there's a lot of quality in life in this game that was released in 2005, and I'm glad that this game got a PC port, despite not being the most popular game or well-selling game, being released in 2005 for the GameCube and PS2, but PS2 is known for its lower quality graphics because it wasn't intended for the PS2 until later on by Capcom, where they're like, let's make our original GameCube exclusives, or supposed exclusives, to PS2. And even though I've heard those are probably sold more because PS2 was one of the most better selling consoles during that time, you know, the best way to play it is either GameCube or PC, but PC has a lot of improvements, such as video subtitles, anti-aliasing, widescreen 60 FPS, skippable cutscenes, English subtitles, different languages, and you don't have to worry about buying a different controller or waiting a little bit longer on the GameCube version, because obviously the hardware and the technology back then wasn't as crazy as it is, as advanced it is as it is today, like 4K, 60 FPS, all that stuff, Bluetooth, everything like that. So yeah, I recommend playing this game if you ever get a chance. Shooting will be hard with controller, but yeah, mouse and keyboard is still fine too, and you know, it's a really interesting game that you won't see in other games, and I think this game stands out a lot, and the story is super engaging, and despite being confusing, the music is awesome. The yeah, I never got tired of it. And once you kind of get used to the grind of how to switch to the different personas and stuff, and getting used to the enemies and puzzles, it becomes a lot more fun and exciting, and it became less. Oh, well, I didn't think it was repetitive at all, but you get used to it, and it gets a lot more fun and exciting once you know how to play the game and kind of figure out what's happening in the story, because it's just a really cool way they present all the stories and characters. It's a really interesting cast of characters and plots that I highly recommend, and not enough people talk about it, and there's not really a lot of games like it. So yeah, check out Killer7 if you can. It's not the hardest game. There's definitely a little bit of things, but it's not like unplayable compared to Siren, where they didn't tell you anything and they wanted you to look up a guide or communicate with people on the internet. But that was before YouTube and gaming videos became common as it is today. But yeah, it's not very expensive and the game runs great on PC, and you don't need to emulate it unless you really wanted to. But yeah, check it out, killer7. I'm going to stop yapping and I'm gonna let you guys check this out if you haven't, because it is so amazing. I love this game. But that'll be it. Thank you for watching. This is my review of killer7. I highly recommend it. I don't really have a score, and I don't really think it needs a score, but it's just like, just freaking amazing. I guess I could give it a score, like a 10, because I've played it so many times. There's very few flaws. I just love this game so much. It's so exciting and really fun. I'm glad I got some of my friends into it. So yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye. Peace out.
You're a good friend, but unfortunately, our interest is not mutual. We both have become burdened with so much, and we don't have time for fun anymore.
No, there's always time for fun. It's Friday night.
Let's dance.